up? It's your boy Conserviz 34, and it is hot in my apartment. Oh my gosh, I'm sweating. Gotta turn up the fan. Lord have mercy. And I'm sure everyone in Chicago was sweating tonight. What's up, Granny? Thank you for staying up, Granny. I know you're on the East Coast. D&B Mamas, I know you're on the East Coast if you have checked in. But we're going to talk about this show that just happened in Chicago. If anyone was there, please comment below. Let us know if you were there. What is my computer doing? Okay. Let us know if you were there for sure, and we will ask you about the experience. See if we got a reaction here from anyone who was there. Not right now. But if anyone was at the show, thanks, John. Listen, I'm still working. I'm working on my craft, but I've come a long way. Mike says not as good as night one. Yep, we're going to talk about that here. Oh, give me 1 second here. Excuse me. All right, we are back here. Yeah, looking at the set list here. We'll go over that in a moment. Yeah, and I agree with you, Granny. There's no such thing as a bad show unless you go to a show and it's canceled, and hopefully that does not happen for this tour. But I think just off the bat, if I had to choose between the two shows, I'd probably choose night one. One of the tough things that would make me think about this night is the fact that there was a suite up and down. But we'll go over that in a moment as far as comparing these two. And again, if anyone was there, please come in the chat. D&B Mamas, I think your friend, you had commented if you want to invite them to the live stream or anyone who was there. Let me check in on Mile High Dad. Let's see, just to see if he was there. I know he was there. We're going to see if, let's see. Let's see, what are your thoughts on paired to one since you were at both shows. Anyone in the comments too, if you're watching the replay, let us know what you think if you were at both shows, if you prefer night one or night two. We would love to hear it, even if you're in the, you're watching this at a later time. Let us know what you think. And so for this show, just to kind of go over what we have here, we have 4 Under the Table and Dreaming songs, 4 Before These Crowded Streets, 3 Remember Two Things, 3 Unreleased, 2 Miscellaneous Release, 1 Crash, 1 Everyday, 1 Stand Up, 1 Big Whiskey, 1 Away from the World, 1 Come Tomorrow. I like how Come Tomorrow, Away from the World, Big Whiskey are all one. Same with Stand Up. And they busted out 4 Before These Crowded Streets. Now, obviously, you got a Crush, right? You got a Crush. You got a Don't Drink the Water. You got a PNP Rapunzel. So I think that, and this is where the song, it can, so you have 4, but really it's like 3, right? The one thing that I noticed about just looking at the album's song spread is, again, Big Whiskey not getting a lot of plays, and I actually am okay with that. We've gotten tons of Big Whiskey since it's came out. And there was only one Big Whiskey last night, obviously a 15-song set. And Squirm was a song, and I think that was a good choice. I like Squirm versus the Sevens and the YIMs and everything else. But from a set list perspective, that's where we're at. Now, let's look at the opener, which is Granny. I actually think this is probably one of the best realistic openers for the band. And then they went right into a Seek Up. I like that, sometimes they don't always do Seek Up right away, but I like how you have a Granny to open up. It's nice, it's awesome. It's to me, it's an appropriate song for them just for this tour as the tour opener back in Raleigh. And then you go into a Seek Up, and then you get a Sweet Up and Down. That first three off the bat, I think, is an awesome start to make up for what was lost. And sure, you could have a Stone opener, sure, you could have had a bunch of crazy stuff, but this is realistic, and I think all of these songs are great for the band. I love how they do Granny, especially with the vocals with Buddy. Seek Up has been great. Maybe a little less trumpet in my opinion, but I think it's a good song and just an epic spiritual experience still. And then Sweet Up and Down is just another banger, which I'm glad they've brought this back. And to me, Sweet Up and Down, when I'm looking at night one versus night two, as we put these side by side, and we look at night one, the Sweet Up and Down is more valuable than any song to me that they played in night one. However, I think the culmination of songs that they had for night one is a little bit better overall. And that's with me not being there. And we're just going to put those side by side. Oops. No, come on. Come on. And let's see. We can just put. So this is side by side here. But I think they started off with a bunch of stuff that was awesome. Now, here's the thing that is interesting. You could argue with this if you've been to, if Chicago is not your first weekend of DMB, you went to Raleigh, you went to Charlotte, you could argue that even if you went to night one, you could argue this encore, you could have went to your car. That doesn't mean it's not, Singing from the Windows wasn't a special moment for Chicago to get that. And it does not mean that P&P and Rapunzel is a bad closer per se. And I'd rather have that, honestly, than Watchtower. I love the progression in P&P Rapunzel in the chorus to the breakdown that Dave does, and I actually think it's just one of those special moments in when he's saying, "I think the world of you." It's like a. What is it? The Rapunzel when it's like. I think the world. And what's it? What was it? I'm looking at this live on the air from Dave Tabs. And then it's 7/8. Oh, it's all on this, so it's. I love that part. You can add the notes. Like that right there is just epic. So I actually like Rapunzel, and I'd rather have it than Watchtower. I just think that if you've been to a bunch of shows and you were expecting a makeup, right? You're saying, okay, the wind and everything messed up the encore last time. To have like a two-step into something, a two-step into Ants, even though they did Ants for the closer, I thought that's one thing that they could have, I'm just looking at the set that for this was a makeup show for sure, but it doesn't seem to have a makeup moment because you did get tour debuts. You got an Ants tour debut, and we'll have to see what people say. If you were at the show again, let us know what you think of the Ants marching. So let us know what you think of the Ants marching, because I would love to hear how it sounded. Did it sound the same? Did it sound different? But I think that this show, now again, here's what I like to see here is you have, so you do have a Dancing Nancy. So Song that Jane Likes is a cool song. It's cute. It's probably a break in between the first three bangers that start off the show. You have a Dancing Nancy's, and then you have a Funny the Way It Is. Cool, right? Cool. But and then you have a Warehouse. D&B Mamas, how's it going? D&B Mamas, I know you had commented on someone. If you want to see if they want to come in to even chat about the show, let us know. But if anyone knows anyone who's at the show, and just text them, hey, just have them comment or have them text you what they thought of the show and put it in the comments. I would love to hear what people thought at the show. But you do have a Nancy's, you have a Warehouse, you have a Crush, and then you do get the Sweet Jam. And I'm just pointing out the stuff I think that are, to me, are highlights that I would like. You get Minarets, cool, right? A Jimmy with the I Want a New Drug, cool. I'm not too. I think it's cool that they're adding this Huey. Is it Huey Lewis in the News? I think it's cool they're adding that. I don't think I still don't want to see Jimmy thing. And then you do have a full everyday. So I think that's a special moment there, I'm sure, for people because they got the full everyday versus the partial. Or their almanac is calling it aborted. And then you have a 41. I think that's awesome to have a late set 41. So John says, I would much rather have a Die Trying over Rapunzel. I think either or. I can see, you know what? I will say this, Die Trying fits this band better, right? Without the violin, even though both songs have violin solo, special parts. I think Die Trying is probably one of the best post Roy. Like Roy passes away, rest in peace. A lot of the music will never be the same. Die Trying actually gets better, and it's not because Leroy left. It's because the band actually just was made, like they evolved this, and I think part of that is Rashawn. Rashawn is too much in the Rapunzel. I agree. Yeah, no, he gets very horny at the end of Rapunzel, a pun intended. But yeah. So no, but I think that either way though, PNP, Rapunzel, Die Trying, I think those would have been solid. I think to give Chicago a two-step. Now they got an Ants, right? They got an Ants marching. Don't want to discredit that, but you have I just think that one more special thing would have turned this into okay, they totally made up for this. Another thing to look at for this is Samurai Cop comes back. It's tour debut. Samurai Cop comes back. Crush comes back. And Ants Marching. Those are your tour debuts for tonight. So you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tour debuts over this 2-night stand. So we get 7 more. 4 and 3. 4 last night, 3 tonight. So they're building up the song count. They're diversifying their portfolio. And it's interesting because again, you have an extra album and you have an album on the way, and you really have Come Tomorrow Now isn't the thing they're pushing. I think Two Step isn't being played. John says, do you think Two Step is getting played because of Carter's age or because Dave doesn't want to do it the last few years? Here on Out was not played, DMB Mama. You are correct. I can put your comments up. I forgot about this because I've seen other streamers do this. Yeah. So John says this. I think it's more because of Carter's age. The reason I also say that, if we look at the Dave and Tim, they play Two Step. Let me just look at the 2017 tour, because I see Dave and Tim playing it all. They were playing it even like in 17. If we look at this 41 shows by tour, Dave and Tim Europe. Let me just look at songs to see how many times. Yeah, so check this out. This is Dave and Tim in 2017 for their summer tour. So they did a spring tour in Europe, and then they did but look at Two Step. Where is it? Most played songs. Two Step was the most played song. 94 different songs played. So I think it's Carter's age. What does Carter's age have to do with Two Step? So Granny, I know you were watching my show last night. It is a song that technically is hard for Carter. Just the way that it has to be played is hard for Carter. And DMB Mama says Two Step is not the same without Boyd. I do agree, but it's still a great song. I don't need Boyd there to have a great time. I also like it being shortened. Again, in the history of Two Step, it was a 7 or 8 minute song. Over the years, especially in the post-Roy era, Two Step became a 20-minute song, 15 to 20 minutes. So that's a rigorous thing. As Carter's getting older, that's a song that really it's hard on him. So just to show you, Two Step, 15 times it was played, the most played song in this 17 tour. So if we go back out, this is the Dave and Tim Spring 17. But it was the least played song. Carter is 63. Yes, how old is Carter? Carter is 63. I checked it yesterday. Carter age 63. Yeah, November of 57 is his birthday. So he'll be 64 this year. When I'm 64, will you still need me? Will the band leave me? When but it's just a song that is rigorous for Carter. So they're doing different things to try to adjust it. But I'm going to bring back night one here for now. So yeah, I just think that a Two Step would have been nice, but it is a lot to ask. Again, I put a tweet out earlier today. Hey, look, the band is not going to be able to play everything. There's a lot of people who, I want this 7-hour show. They played 21 songs, right? There's a noise. I'm sure I believe there's a noise curfew out there in Chirac, aka Chicago, aka Chi-Town. So, they're not going to be able to play for 3 hours. There's certain venues like Hartford, the Meadows. They can play a song. They can play a show through midnight. Even though they're not playing there this summer. And this is actually today is, as far as this day in DMB history, in 99 was night 3 of Hartford. And that is Live Tracks 3, 8/8/99. This is actually as we enter the early hours, and in 8/7/99 was the day there were the riots really kind of happened. Oh no, that's not true. Sorry. Live the Live Tracks 3 is 2000. I always forget that because there was multiple years of just wild things going on. But in 8/8/99, on this day in DMB history, they played a night 3. There was a 3-night stand, August 6th through 8th at Hartford, which was a big thing here. Yeah, John, you're right. Yeah, no, I just realized that. I looked it up. I get confused because there were riots in 99, and then there was, 2000 was still wild, but there wasn't. Oh no, there weren't there. I believe in 2000 there were there riots. I always get that confused. Yeah, 99 was the riots that made Rolling Stone on August 7th, which was night 2, and then police were out in full force in the lots one for the 8th because of that. They could play everything like a 7-day vacation in a farm field of 40K fans camping and jamming. Just saying. 7-day. I'm actually, Granny, I'm sorry. I'm against farm fields because I'm against flat surfaces for this band. I know the Caravan had some of the epic shows. I need elevation to see this band. They could play on a farm. They could do some open field. They could go to Bader Field again, right? I prefer for them to be in amphitheaters. But this show, I would love to hear what people thought of the ants marching. I'm sure people will start to comment, and you'll see different people's reactions to it. And I love to hear this ants marching. So we had 2 songs people were waiting for: Crush and Ants Marching. Both debuted in this set. I like the late 41. I'm not a fan of Don't Drink the Water or Cornbread in this current band's format. A 7-day show somewhere. Technically they could. It's still a daunting task for the band and for camping. 7 total days. 3 days is exhausting. And I'm 30, folks. I know many of you guys are older than me. I'm 30, and I'm in for a 30-year-old, I'd say I'm in pretty good shape. I'm still running and working out almost daily. Actually, tomorrow morning, I have to end this stream within the next 30 minutes because I'm gonna run 6-7 miles tomorrow morning. It is exhausting at 30. So I know some of you guys at 40, 50, past 50. A 7-day, I don't think they'll ever do that. And the band too, they would just get exhausted. I think they would at some point 7 straight days, Dave's voice would be shot. I think a 3-day weekend, like the Gorge somewhere else, would be cool, or maybe a 4-day. I would say 4-day max. Obviously, Mexico is 3 days, but that's Dave and Tim. It's a little lower energy for Dave, even though Dave does give his all. He's not jumping, he's not sweating out in the Dave and Tim shows like the full band, but 4 full band shows is daunting. 3 full band shows for the Gorge weekend is daunting. And Granny's saying she would love to hear the catalog. Oh, I would love to hear it too. I would love to hear like a Before These Crowded Streets night, a Crash night, and then you just do extra stuff in between, a Busted stuff. Do your best albums front to back. And then, don't tell anyone what day you're going to do which one. And just some of these 2-night stands, pull Crash for the whole front to back and then do extra songs at the end, right? That would be awesome. You would have an hour of an album and then an hour of other stuff. You could do that. They play 2-hour shows of 2 hours of music. So I think it would be cool. But going back to this show, again, what I personally don't like is, again, the Don't Drink the Water, Cornbread, the Jimmy thing. I don't need it. And I Want a New Drug thing. I know it's a cool thing now. I'm pretty sure it'll be played out by the end of the year. Although I think everyone will want to see it. Bayou, I could go without that. and Samurai Cop. We don't need that back. We got it so much. Now they wanted to play it. Look, they're gonna debut it. They're playing a lot of different stuff. They can play it for a night. I hope it goes missing. But everything else I think is pretty solid, especially that suite at the 12 spot. I really like that. I do think I'm going to bring back night one for you guys, put it side by side. No, not like that. And happy birthday to Roger. That is Granny's dog, who is just celebrated his birthday. I believe it was yesterday, the 7th. Today's the 8th. So happy birthday to your companion, your best friend, your boyfriend, as you say. That's cute. But I know dogs are a special bond, and for you, it's even more special. Now that you have the kids are all grown up, and this is your pal. That's your person, Roger. So we want to say happy birthday to Roger. Okay, so here we go. These are the side by sides. The reason I would choose when we look at the side by sides, the fish tender, the so much to say bridge too much, the proudest monkey into graves, the stay or leave, the so damn lucky. Like I think I really, when I listen to tonight's show, when the tapers release it, and shout out to all the tapers who have done an amazing job. I don't see how I don't see moments. I know Sweet Up and Down is going to be great. Seek Up and Granny. I think overall there's a quality factor in the show last night compared to tonight. And in many ways, if you look at the people who got a 16 set show last night, and I know Jesse's traveling, some people can only make night one. That's just a reality. Most people do try to get 2 nights, the DMB fanatics, but some people only can make night one. I think if you walked away from night one and you look at the set from night two, you're like, yeah, there was stuff I missed, but I still got a heck of a show. And that So Damn Lucky, that Stay or Leave, those were solid. Those Some Devil songs. And the Lion Our Graves was pretty solid. The Gray Street was solid. The Squirm was great. The Big Eye Fish and the Bartender is just probably your highlight of last night. And I listened back to that. But I think that both of these nights are great. I think the band is in a great space. The creativeness of some of the stuff they're doing, the sets they're choosing, right? Are there songs I don't want to hear? Yes, but these are still the songs I don't want to hear are popular fan favorites. Don't Drink the Water, Cornbread, right? And I'm sure, Samurai Cop, I wonder how it hit because it is a song that's newer, but people like it if you have, because of the fact if you had a kid and if you're giving birth or you're a father who's had a child or you're adopted, Samurai Cop is probably a special song for you. And I like the idea of the song as someone who loves working in the church nursery. I've been working in there for 25 years. I think I'm only 30. No, not 25 years. Probably I think it's like 23, 25 since I've been 8 years old and I'm 30. So I love children. I've seen children that are now graduated from college that I used to watch in the nursery when I was 8 years old. So some of them are in college. So anyway, I understand the sentimental part of Samurai Cop. I don't know if it's popping like people think. But I think both of these nights are great. We go into Deer Creek weekend, and Granny, we're going to call you for sure. We're going to try to probably best face, I know you had messaged me about, hitting you up during the show. We will definitely check in with you to see what you think. I wish I could be there. I will be there next year. I hope this coronavirus thing is contained and by next year, and everything's good, but I'm definitely going to make a trek out there next year, get everything in advance, get a flight or plan a road trip in advance. Because as I told you, Granny, if it was, Granny is Sandra Jones there, who the prices right now are wild. I was thinking about making a last ditch effort to fly in and go to Deer Creek because of the uncertainty with the coronavirus and just some of the changes, the potential for a positive test. Folks, a positive test in this band could mean that the band is sidelined. And not just the band, the touring crew. Now they may be able to. I think one of the things that helps DMB, right? They're going to be in Clarkson during the week, and then they have a stretch to Deer Creek. One of the things that helps this band is other bands are doing more shows per week than DMB, especially midweek shows. DMB, like Jeff flew home, right? Jeff lives in Nashville. So he after West Palm Beach and DMB Mamas was there, Leia. Um, After that, he flew back to Nashville, celebrated his birthday in Nashville. Happy belated birthday to Jeff. And then he flew into Chicago, right? I'm sure it's possible, Granny, as far as that's why there's no selfies because of the fact that the coronavirus. But at the same time, I think there was a selfie. Was there a selfie last night? At this, it could be that. But I know I really hope that people can be separate from Dave, and I know he bikes out by himself. Hopefully, we don't need a positive test. It doesn't matter they're vaccinated. The standard right now is people, even someone sick. There was a Dustin Lynch show here in Mohegan. I believe it was Dustin Lynch, Mohegan Sun Arena in Connecticut. That's an arena Dave is going to be playing. And I've seen Dave every Mohegan Sun show that Dave has played. I've been there since 2012 when they debuted their first show. Anyway, that venue, the show was canceled very close to the event. Like I think midday to late afternoon, the show was canceled. So people were already in their hotels. People were at the casino gambling because outside of the arena, it's all casinos. You don't even have to walk outside. You leave the casino door, the arena doors. You're at you can go right to a casino. So people got there and everyone was having, the country music fans were out there for a great weekend and they're told show's canceled. Someone was sick. They didn't even know if it was a positive test. Someone just wasn't feeling good and they postponed that show. And that's country. A lot of the country music acts. Now Jason Isbell and some others are a little more serious about COVID, but a lot of these country acts are living on the edge. And culturally, it's just one of the things you see in some of these southern and Midwestern states is people aren't the vaccination rate. Anyway, I don't want to get into those politics, but if that's happening to a country music show, Foo Fighters, Fall Out Boy, as I said last night, Fall Out Boy not being on the Hella Mega Tour, the last two shows in New York and Boston, Citi Field, Fenway Park, a positive test in this crew could hold out. So and DB Mom, I know you're saying this. It's not about being like I don't want to. I know you have your opinions. It's not about getting them healthy. I mean, they should be. That we hope that they're healthy. I'm pretty sure the whole band's vaccinated. It's not about health as much as it's precaution, right? If there's a positive test, they could be taking the turmeric, the ginger. They could have vitamin C. Shout out to my girlfriend. My girlfriend has me on different things right now, vitamin C, and just getting some things in my diet to suggesting things for me to have to just be healthy with the fact that not only the coronavirus, but just in general. So I'm doing different things to be well health wise, because regardless COVID or not, we your health as well. So, those things will help them for their well-being. But the main thing is, hey, a positive test. Oh, and Rab told you they only can do virtual hugs. And Rab has had a mask on and he's been in the sound booth. When he goes live, he used to go live from the lawn. Oh, keeping them COVID free. Okay. Well, if he has any tips, by all means, have him pass it along. I just think the main thing is the crew has to if anyone in the crew tests positive, you're looking at 3 to 10 days that they're going to be out. Now, how that impacts depending on where they are in the touring. If it's after a weekend like today, you'd have a DTE canceled. They'd probably try to do everything they can to get to Deer Creek if it wasn't a band member. But we'll see what happens. I'm trying to I may go to Syracuse just because I want to try to get a show or two in just as soon as possible. I want to be at Mansfield, and actually, my buddies from Mansfield that were going to go with me, they're like, at this point, they're most likely not going to go. They're pretty much like 95% sure they're not going to go to Mansfield, and they're kind of expecting a potential cancellation. So unless it's rescheduled, they're going to just sell their tickets, either to me or put them up on the market. Because I'm going to Mansfield. I just don't have tickets, and I'm trying to get the parking situation squared away. But anyway, this tour has a lot of uncertainty, but all we can do is take it show by show. Be grateful for what they play. Be well, be safe. I'm just happy that people are getting these weekends. I hope Granny and D&B Mamas, Leia, hopefully you guys are able to have a ball. Like I said, I'm going to be checking in with you guys over the weekend. And I really hope you guys are able to have everything and have a good time at those shows. I will not be going. I tried logistically, as I had said, about 10, 15 minutes ago. I tried to work out every possible thing. It's just, it's not worth it to me. The flights are ridiculous because I'm in Connecticut. I don't want to go too far past New York or Boston. And even so, it's too soon. But I'm going to I may go to Syracuse, and I will be with you guys in spirit for sure. And then you say I'll be with you either way. But I'll be with you guys in spirit, but potentially Syracuse, definitely Mansfield if the show goes on. And do they have two sets of crew? I mean, yeah, that would be a good sign, because then you could just swap out a crew or quarantine a crew. And I know there's like different, there's all different things they have to bring. So no, I will be with you guys in spirit. Spirit air, no. In spirit, hey man, like things are crazy right now in the airline industry, and I don't blame people that there's pilot shortages and weather shortages and different things that have canceled some Spirit flights over the last week or so. Like almost half the flights a couple of days in a row were canceled. I think one of the days exceeded 50%, but it's treat everyone well, treat everyone in the hotel well, treat the flight attendants well. And I know most D&B fans, you practice this, right? There's some jerks. There's a minority of jerks in this community that are the entitled, people on these airlines fighting and yelling. But hey, it is serious. There is people, and rightfully so, people do not want to be. People are sick of being flight attendants dealing with this crap. People are sick of being TSA agents, and they're finding new jobs outside of the service industry. Same with restaurants. People are being jerks at restaurants. And we're seeing all these service industry jobs. They're trying to hire people, and they literally can't find people. And it's not because of the fact that people don't need jobs. People are looking for jobs in other industries where they don't have to deal with some of the people that, it's a minority of people that ruins it for everyone else. But just be kind to those people you see. Tip your the people at the hotels what you can. I know cash is limited for some of you. See if you can send it electronically, man. Just treat these people well, because hey, if you want to travel, if you want to have these concerts, if you want security at the venues, people have to get hired. And if you want people hired, they gotta feel like their job is worth, they don't get paid much. Some people do. You can find jobs, but they don't get paid enough to deal with people. And they're saying, hey, I'm gonna just get this job over here where I can get paid as much or more, and I don't have to deal with face-to-face people. I can deal with email, deal with it over the phone, but I'm not dealing with these people in person trying to fight me or argue or try to bust through the line. So that's what we have. Any other thoughts on the shows? But we will try to get Granny and Leia on for Deer Creek weekend. We got Friday, Saturday. Michigan, stay tuned to my Twitter. I could go live for that. It just depends on my schedule and then also what happens that night. If there's a huge bust out, I'll definitely try to do everything I can to go live. But if not, Depends. But definitely like, comment, subscribe. It's your boy Conserviz34, YouTube Conserviz34, Twitter, Instagram. Follow me. Twitter is where you're gonna get the alerts if I go live, what I'm doing, what I, reaction sometimes, even to the shows. And and Sandra, Granny saying there's a hospital this week was a mess shortage, and that's the other thing too. Be kind at the hospital. Be kind to the frontline workers, and the hospitals filling up is a thing that can impact it as well. And actually, before I cut off again, here are the potential. I can ramble on, but here, just to give you guys, these are just the potential things of concern. So you have to look at hospitalizations, right? Because if hospitals are full, it's going to raise out certain mandates and restrictions. The ban going into a city where they see on the news, it could impact it. They're going to do everything they can, but if the mandates change, they may have to delay this tour. So you have this idea of local government restrictions, local state restrictions, making the show not possible. The band doesn't feel comfortable. Live Nation shut down and the tour stopped. That's one. Seattle, or in the Gorge, just out, 2 hours outside of Seattle. That's a concern I have. But you have local government restrictions and local state, specific restrictions, right? And federal government, but it's mostly the state restrictions. The other thing you have is a potential positive test from any band member or crew member that has been in contact with the stage or been in contact with the band or just anyone in the traveling party. So again, you have, local state restrictions, you have a positive test within the band, and then you also have just the overall cultural. So if you see a bunch of other people canceling their shows, DMB may follow suit. It's a domino effect. Those are the three main things that could impact this, regardless of what you believe, whether you're vaccinated or not. Those are the three things. You have, again, internal. You have state restrictions, or regional restrictions in a county, in a jurisdiction. You have a positive test, or you just have culturally other artists postponing their show, even if you could go outside without a mask. If you see Foo Fighters and the Weezer Green Day tour with Hella Mega tour, you see Billy Joel cutting shows, you see Chris Stapleton cutting shows, D&B may follow suit. Fish start to cut shows, we'll see. And hopefully too with Deer Creek, I'm sure it will. Fish is there. They have a 3-night stand. Hopefully everything clears out okay with Fish. And then the hospitals are okay out where Granny lives in Indiana, because that's another concern, is that, hey, you have Fish coming in. If there's some sort of hospitalization rate that goes up, and then you got DMB coming in the next weekend, that's just a concern. And Mike, but actually, before we go, Mike says Sister and Die Trying were cut from the show tonight. Okay. That's good to know. And shout out to the USA women's basketball team, aka the UConn All-Star team. I'm a UConn Husky fan through and through. Men's and women's basketball, men's and women's hockey. Oh, hey, tell Jude I say hi. I'm surprised he's up this late, but hey, it's summertime. Such a great kid from what I've seen. You and Josh have done well, Leia. Just everything we've seen from him at the shows, the videos you show us. I mean, you can definitely tell the parents are reflective of how great that kid is. I know he's doing well in school. We're proud of him. And so yeah, I have to see if I can find this set list. DMB. I'm sure it'll be up, but see if we can find it. I'll look for it after this. But thank you guys for being on. It's around 53 minutes in. I need to go to bed because I wake up at like 6:30 to go running. about 7 miles. Maybe I'll get to 8. We'll see. I gotta get my running back. They're saving sister for granny. I think you may be right. They're gonna get that to you for next weekend. Although I think they played it already, but I know that band should be making VN-Vax a requirement. That's where you're at. I see what you're saying, Mike. I think the biggest thing is it doesn't even matter. It really doesn't matter because look at the Foo Fighters. They did that, and then they they still had to cut the show. Because the thing is, the most important thing is I can see the negative test. I think the most realistic thing is the negative test, and the negative test and the vaccination card. I think that's the best balance. The reality is, with the traveling parties, gas stations, restaurants, hotels, especially indoors with those hotels, the safety of the fans. See, I mean, honestly, I really don't think it would definitely piss people off. But I think the main thing is it's not about, it's honestly as bad as take it how it is. It's not really about the shows, right? If you go into a show and you don't have a mask on, that's on you, right? And everyone knows that. Everyone I've talked to who's not gotten vaccinated, that's on, they know that. They understand that they're doing other things. I think the main thing is, now I think even for you and Mike, I really hope you're able to get to the. I mean, I don't even know if we're gonna have a gorge, but I really hope you're able to get to the gorge, man. I know we can talk offline about that, especially because I know you have your seats, things like that. But the most important thing, it has nothing to do with the actual show. It has everything to do with the other factors, restaurants. And I don't want to get into a big debate on that about vaccination or not. It has everything to do with the band, who they're in contact with, right? They can't avoid the hotels. They can't avoid the restaurants. They can't avoid the food. They can't even avoid just someone getting food for them, right? Or preparing food for them. And then they get in contact with someone else. Like, it's not really about the show. The show is more of a reflective. The city has to deal with the show, but they're not going to show like Fish is at Deer Creek this weekend, right? There's probably going to be COVID transmission at Deer Creek. It's just, it's going to happen, but that's not going to cancel the Fish tour. Even with like the shows, the band is so far from people, right? And they're on stage, and yes, they don't have masks. The main thing is the traveling these bands do. And also for you, Mike, the main thing is it's the positivity rates across the entire population in America and in Canada. Because you could have a show full of DMB fans, they go back to their respective areas. That's a drop in the bucket. Even Lollapalooza, 100,000 people. I know it's all super spreader, all that stuff. It's really about the local states and the reporting numbers. And I think the concern I have more people again being tested. As more people get tested, you're going to have, the COVID numbers have shot up. If more people are testing, if more people are going in to the hospitals, those are the main things. So it's more of a societal thing. If you don't have, it's, and it's people's personal opinions, right? But it's more of a societal thing as far as what you're doing, even outside of a concert, right? If you don't have a vaccine and you're playing with fire, at least, it's fear. But I mean, at the end of the day, if the hospital's full, what are you going to do? That's what it really comes down to. No matter what you think, mask, no mask, this or that, if the hospitals are full, it doesn't matter. Because that's really what it's, because the positivity rate has gone up, but the hospitalizations are the biggest thing. And you can say, oh, that's not a COVID thing. That's not a COVID thing. They are. The hospitals are all filling up. Here in Connecticut, it's going up. Florida was mobbed. Houston, someone had to fly. And listen, I've been to Houston. I stayed in the medical district of Houston. There's like a bajillion hospitals, some of the best in the world. But the hospitalization rates, that's what's going to affected, right? The positivity rate, I don't take that for whatever it is. The hospitalizations, when somebody, I know for a fact that the hospitals, they had to take a kid. This is Houston, Texas. It's like a top 5 medical center in the world. They had to take a kid who had COVID from Houston to like somewhere else in Texas. Usually people are going from the middle of nowhere, Central Texas, East Texas, which is like the middle of nowhere. Yeah, but look, talk to your local medical, because they literally have moved. It's not about fear. The hospitals are full, like the ICUs are filling up. Now everywhere is different, right? But when you have a kid being moved from Houston to somewhere else in Texas, that's a concern. And again, if you have numbers, or whatever, that, please, by all means, if there's numbers that say otherwise, let me know. And again, I don't check the positivity rate, but at the end of the day, hospitals are filling up. Florida had that, right? Jacksonville and other parts of Florida, the hospitals, and Granny was in Indiana. The hospitals were jam packed. That's not fear. That's the hospital is crowded, right? If the police are called out to 5 different calls in one night in a small town, that's not fear. That's, whoa, we have something going on. How do we stop it? How do we restrict crime in this small town in Connecticut, right? Yeah, the hospitals are filling up in certain parts of the country, and that's really what's going to affect. Because that's the thing is, a lot of these restrictions, it's not like they don't want the hospital. Like, they honestly, like, here's the thing. So, and Mike says the border opens, we can go and have COVID free. If we test positive, you can't go. Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Yeah. So yeah, if you test positive, they're not going to let you back into Canada. That's cost, right? You gotta, if you have kids, if you have family that need you back home, you have parents that may need your help. How are you going to tell someone to go to the gorge? And that's why people are already selling there, where, Canadians are already selling their tickets. Canadians are already, and Americans are doing the same thing. Americans are selling their gorge camping passes already. I've seen a bunch of stuff go up this past week, but that's what it is. If you can't get back to Canada, that's a tough, like, what are you going to do? Stay in Everett, Washington, right? You're going to stay as close as you can to the border and just stay there for, 15. That's a lot to stay in another country, deal with that exchange rate, right? In a job that won't let you miss time, right? And they have this COVID. Yeah, you can take these COVID days, but if you're up for a promotion, if you're up for a performance review, look, some of these jobs, it doesn't matter, right? Some of these jobs, yeah, we care about your code, but they're like, look, if Mike is stuck in for 15 to 20 days, and this is September, and we're trying to get stuff for Q4 ready to go, or whatever the plans are, you could lose your job. So I think that's the thing is, look, I think there's some things people overreact with across this country, across the world. But when you have nurses, I mean, the nurses are talking again. The nurses, and I have friends who are nurses, and one of them caught COVID. A distant friend, I would say this. I just haven't. He's down in New York, so I haven't really seen him in years. But I mean, he comes back up. We have a hockey reunion, alumni game. I'm gonna see him and talk to him. But I saw he got COVID. Like this thing is. Right. I mean, look, yeah, there was a hospital. Look, the media had a hospital, but at the end of the day, you have to realize something, especially in like, nobody wants to shut down. No one wants to shut down. No, you think the governor of any state wants to talk to Live Nation and say, hey, I know you guys are hurting. We got to shut down Deer Creek. Hey, I know you guys are hurting. We got to shut down the gorge. You think Governor Inslee in Washington, who, yes, they have strict requirements there. You think he wants to shut down the gorge? The gorge is the gorge is a huge part of the economy in central Washington. There's nothing out there but the gorge. You have people that literally live there for half the year to run the gorge. You have kids who are doing the parking. That's the only summer job. You have single mothers that rely. I was talking to a single mother in Moses Lake, Washington, who, when the gorge comes through, this was in 19, and everything picks up. That's how they make their money. Hotels live off that. Right. Well, hey, yeah, I've been down there. You're from Houston, yeah. So I've been down there. Yeah, like there's a lot. It's a huge city, but I don't think at this point there's no benefit to lying. The only benefit is, so it's still getting sick. You can still test positive and cause a lot of issues. I also had a son. Right. So you have a son who's not. So this is what Mike says. Yeah, I mean, listen, I know, listen, the media hypes up stuff, but at the end of the day, talk to nurses, because I'm talking, like, that's the thing, is my friends are nurses. I've had exes who are nurses, and obviously I'm not talking to them right now. Hey, how's the pandemic, ex? But like, I know that the hospital community, this thing, like but there's no benefit in shutting down the business. Like, at this point, there was a benefit. There's definitely you could argue at the beginning of COVID, like, okay, yeah, they can be over cautious. These governors, Democrat, Republican, Independent, these businessmen, like these people who are in charge of business, if they shut down, if the rental car companies can't get people to rent these cars because they shut down, they cancel Gorge weekend, and everyone cancels, because look, everyone has a free cancellation rental right now for Gorge weekend, for Labor Day weekend. If they shut down Washington next month, no, not next month. If they shut down Washington in 2 weeks from now, and no people don't show up to the Gorge to rent that car, that's not a benefit. The only people who benefit is the vaccine, maybe the vaccine companies. They get a booster shot out, but even these hospitals are still not, like, with all this treatment, all this stuff, they're not, you could say some are making money, but it's not like they're like, oh yeah, COVID really got us stuff. No, COVID is making it so people don't want to work there anymore. They have to spend more for retention. I'm telling you, people are quitting their jobs at these hospitals. Teachers are quitting these schools. There's certain benefits in fear tactics, but right now there's no benefit to business, right? It's like, look at Houston. The Houston rodeo was shut down, right, in 2020. That's a huge loss. Now they could do that. Look, 1 year is one thing. If the rodeo is shut down in 2022, that's a blow. That's a blow. Anyway, I know I digress, but look, at the end of the day, you talk to a local. Now I can't speak for the whole country, right? And even the Houston story, I'm hearing that, but all I can say is that the nurses that I know, the people who work in hospitals, there's a real concern, because the hospitals are filling up, right? Tests were going up. Oh yeah, whatever. Like, look, people are doing it on their own, right? We don't have a clue of anything. Everyone, look, we can be a conspiracy theorist left and right. This is that is that. This is fake. That's that. No one truly knows what's going on. At the end of the day, what I do know is people that are working at hospitals are telling us, look, these things are full. Granny went to a hospital and it was packed, right? You can't deny that stuff. You can be a conspiracy theorist and think this, and that, and all that stuff. Right. Yeah. We don't know a lot of what's going on in the world, but I know people. Listen, I know that for Live Nation, there is nothing. Look, one of the most evil companies in the world. We know they are not trying to shut these down. We know they're not. I don't think Universal. Listen, anyway. I don't want to get too much into that, but all this Universal. Listen. The people that want to get money, even the people who are like talking about giving money to everyone else, they're making money. Okay. They're making the bread. Anyway, I don't want to get this too political, but anyway, stay well, stay safe. It's your boy Conservative 34. Definitely like, comment, subscribe. I will see you guys possibly this week, later this week, in the middle of the week for DTE, Detroit, Suburban Detroit and Clarkson. If not, I will definitely be here Friday and Saturday for the Deer Creek shows. Take care.